On today's 3 Minutes of Marketing, let's talk about the questions that are frequently asked. Now, I'm not going to be going through questions that I am frequently asked. I'm going to be talking to you about questions that you may be frequently asked. And most importantly, when it comes down to how do you create content for your business? Content is extremely important, and it comes in different forms. Most commonly you're used to it in blogs, but you also see videos just like the one you're watching now, and you can see it in podcasts as well as even social media content. One of the biggest hurdles that most businesses, when starting to market online, come up against is coming up with content. What is it that I create? What do I create a video on? What do I write about? What do I post about? A lot of times that's a big stressor. But the reality is, you know what those answers should be. Because if you've been in business or you've done research or even you're starting out and you've done a business plan, you've thought of some of the questions that your clients, customers, or potential customers may be asking. Because your business should be solving a problem. And there should be multiple questions that people have about that product, service, or business that you have. So take some time and write them down. Think about it. And if you have some trouble coming up with ideas, just ask the ideal person. Ask your friend or your family, hey, you know what? In my business that I'm trying to start or that I have, what would be some questions that you may have? Right? And they will tell you. Write them down. And then create a blog post about them, create a video about them, one video, one piece of content for every one of those questions. And if you come up with, let's say, 12 questions, and you do a really good blog post on each one of those, ultimately, if you're releasing it once a month, you've got an entire year's worth of content to talk about. So just spend the time and think about what it is that your customers may have as questions. A lot of times you'll get questions emailed to you, or you'll get questions asked to you or your staff in your business. If you've got a brick and mortar business and you've got a team of employees, make it a culture that if they're asked a question, have a little notepad there at the checkout. They just write it in there. Then you can use those to create that content. Because a little tip, I guarantee if one person is actually asking that question, there's probably at least 10 more that have the same question in their head but haven't asked you that question. If you can proactively answer it, you're going to start to get more traction with your content online. You're going to get more clients ultimately. And a lot of times, it's very simple, basic questions that you take for granted. So here's your homework. Get out a piece of paper, get a notepad, and start to think about 10 questions that your prospects, your clients, or your future customers may have about your business.